So can we all remember who the Ballon D'Or nominees were in 2007? Probably not, so let's just take a look at 10 years into the future and see what the top 10 shortlist for the Ballon D'Or might just be. Gianluigi Donnarumma. What a year 2027 was for Gianluigi Donnarumma. Not only did the Chelsea goalkeeper help his side to Champions League glory, not a bad start for John Terry's managerial career, but he also helped Italy to actually qualify for the damn World Cup. The 28-year-old who traded Milan for the Blues in 2019, following Thibaut Courtois' sensational decision to retire from the game and open up a Belgian brewery, would have been the first goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or since Lev Yashin in 1963. Oh wait, no, sorry, in 7 years. I completely forgot about Nick Pope. Jan Fiet Arp. Remember back in 2017 when nobody was raving about Jan Fiet Arp? Far less being even able to pronounce his name properly. How foolish we were back then. The 27-year-old has come a long way since finishing top scorer for Germany at the Under-17 European Championships. In June 2022, the former Hamburg prodigy ended up at Borussia Dortmund for 35 million before signing for Bayern Munich 12 days later. 2027 was a decent year for him. He top scored yet again, and Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga for a 15th straight season, with many calling for them to be ripped out of the division due to a lack of interest. Dele Alli. Dele Alli's career resurgence in football looks pretty remarkable. After leaving Tottenham to sit on the bench at Man City for 5 years, following England's defeat to Panama at the 2018 World Cup, he became disillusioned with football, especially considering he became the new Jack Rodwell. Rodwell incidentally has since chucked it all in to concentrate on becoming a postman. However, a move to Champions League hopefuls Charlton Athletic 3 years ago has seen him return to form, having scored 20 goals from the heart of midfield for the Addicts as they jostled for the title. The Londoners, bankrolled by your man who got kicked off X Factor for shoving powder up his nose, really did bag a coup when they helped the former MK Don's talent back onto his feet. ABEL Ruiz. Honestly, can you remember a time where ABEL Ruiz didn't feature in the Ballon d'Or list? It was probably sometime back in the early 20s, when Ronaldo and Messi were scrapping it out to see who could finish in the top 10. It was a shame to see Ronaldo's form turn to shit when he returned to Old Trafford, only to get fed up with the standard of talent that greeted him. Ruiz has been banging them in up front for Barcelona for the best part of a decade. Although the 27-year-old was gobbled up like Sunday toast in the Champions League final, he'll be having nightmares about Andreas Christensen's elbows for weeks. Jadon Sancho. It's a real shame what happened to Phil Foden, who's now working at his local Carphone warehouse. The worst thing is, Carphone warehouse shut down years ago. Nobody has the heart to tell him. So it's up to Jadon Sancho from that victorious Under-17 World Cup England team to carry the mantle. Remember that side? Seems like it was back in the Stone Age these days. It was back before Blackburn Rovers went bust and Marcus Rashford ended up at Sunderland by the age of 25. We were naive back then. 2027 was a great year for Sancho, netting 23 goals from the left wing position for Arsenal as the club qualified for the Champions League and Arsene Wenger fought off rigor mortis for another year. Yaya Sanogo. Probably the greatest shock since the series ending to Game of Thrones. By the way, who saw that coming, lads? The Iron Throne going to the lad who looks a stone's throw away from diabetes, despite there not being a candy bar in sight, after everybody gets struck down with mad cow disease? It was a brave decision from the directors, I'll give them that. The rise of Yaya Sanogo was similarly unpredictable, just like how nobody would have thought Ant and Dec would have become joint prime ministers. 10 years ago the man was a joke, down and out at Toulouse with 6 top flight goals to his name, at the age of 24. Good lord. Who saw him catching fire, earning a move to PSG within 2 years and becoming one of the most feared strikers on the planet? Probably not even himself. Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard's come a long way since that disaster at Real Madrid, hasn't he? Let's be honest, the Norwegian got the dream move far too early when he was in his teens and looked like the kid out of Malcolm in the Middle. He was chucked out to West Ham fairly soon after, because of course they'll sign anything that's even coughed near a big club, and from there he rehabilitated his career, getting the move to Liverpool in 2024, where he's pulled the strings in midfield, helping them to lift an FA Cup and Premier League title. No, just kidding about the last one, let's not go crazy. Vinicius Jr. The Bronze Award goes to Vinicius Jr., a man who's been spoken about since he signed for Real Madrid while he still had braces in his head. The Brazilian forward is a superstar, sitting 10th in the club's all-time top goal scorers list. 2027 was a great year for him, as the Galacticos won La Liga at a canter, finishing 15 points ahead of Barcelona, with the Los Blancos team packed full of superstars, such as Rafael Varane, Gabriel Jesus, Marco Asensio and Nick Pope. Gabriel Jesus. Silver goes to former Ballon d'Or winner Gabriel Jesus in his 5th season with Real Madrid now, following that world record £250 million move which nearly shattered the Spanish stock market. It was another solid year for the former World Cup winner, with 40 goals in all competitions for the club. Kylian Mbappe. The Ballon d'Or goes to Kylian Mbappe. He'll probably just stick it on the pile, he's already won about 3 or 4. Undoubtedly the best player in the world, he's also a journeyman. Mbappe left PSG in 2019 after getting bored of cutting terrible defenders to shreds every week. Neymar had already left a year earlier. He rocked up at Man United, cried himself to sleep every night after having his house broken into and realising how bad Jesse Lingard's first touch was, before ending up at Bayern Munich. Finally, in the summer of 2026, he signed for Barcelona and top scored in his debut season. Still didn't win anything though.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.